Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. Jacqueline. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. Jacqueline at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello and welcome everybody. Welcome back to our men show, Wild at Heart, Real, Authentic and Uncut. My name is Roland Friedl, and as you can hear from my accent, I'm not a Native American English or a British English speaker. I'm Roland from Austria, a small little country in the middle of Europe. And my background is I'm a business entrepreneur. I'm running different business all over the places, and since 3 decades I'm supporting international organizations and the leaderships in just growing, getting better performance in leadership, in sales, in HR, in communication, and whatever they need on process optimizations. And since I'm a human being and a man, I dedicate my life also in supporting men to become a better version of themselves. And I started a platform called Sparring for Men, where men meet on a regular basis. And I'm very excited that since 3 weeks we run this show, and thanks to Dr. Jacqueline and USA Global TV and Radio, that she allows 7, I wouldn't say crazy guys, but 7 gentlemen from different places in the world. I will bring them up soon in the panel to do this amazing show, Wild at Heart, a show, as I said, by men, for men, about men. And today's topic will be with this amazing panel, why men need men to talk. So let's bring up the first gentleman on the panel. Welcome, MARCIN from Poland.
Hi guys. Hi everyone. Good to be here.
Hi MARCIN, great to see you.
Hi.
Yeah, and the next one is Christian from Germany.
Hi guys, nice to be with you again.
Hi Christian, great to see you again, man.
Hi,
And let's bring up Hazem from Egypt.
Hi everybody. I missed you
Hi
last week.
Hazem. Hi,
Yeah.
great to see you again. Cool to have you
Thank
back
you.
on the show.
Thank
And
you
our
very
next gentleman from the UK, Big Scott.
Yo, yo, yo. How we doing?
Hey, yo. Hey, man.
All the way from
Great
Wales.
cool, man, you're back. And last but not least, also from Egypt, let's bring him on stage, MONIR.
Hello everyone. Good to be
Hi,
back.
MONIR.
How are you?
Hi, guys. Great.
I'm in here.
Hi, great to have you here. So, gentlemen, the topic of this show is why men need men to talk. And I want to tell you a little bit. I spent last weekend actually from Wednesday to Sunday on my first man festival. So a festival by men, for men, about men, like our show, you know, by men, for men, about men. It was an amazing opportunity. And I realized it is so important that men came together like we did thousands of years ago in our tribe, sitting around a bonfire and talk and experience different stuff. So it was really cool from the different topics we discussed. There was martial arts there, Viking stuff, but it was also lectures about masculinity, sexuality, trauma, and relationships. So it was relative. And the interesting thing is the youngest participant was 25 and the oldest was 82. So it was a wide range of men and generations into it. And before we start this panel, I also want to announce something that I was reading in a book, and I did some research on the internet. I don't know, guys, if you know, but only more than 80% of men don't have a best friend. I don't mean a buddy where you go out and play bull billiard or go to a rodeo or have a couple of drinks. No, I mean a best friend where we really talk about serious stuff, how you feel inside. Yeah, not this general talks about cars or sports or girls or whatever. No, this external world, so where you talk about your internal world. And I spent a day yesterday with one of my best friends. I met him 36 years ago. And we really have always a deep conversation. He said to me, Roland, you know, you're the only person I really open up like this. And he's a very successful businessman. I don't trust anyone, but I trust you. And we all have some deep conversations. So men need men to talk. And the second thing before we open the panel is what I found out is men, and I want to hear your experiences. Men are very competitive. We always want to be the best, have the fastest car, the largest house, the most beautiful girl. So we're very competitive. And on the other hand, we are educated and thrilled not to show emotions, not to talk about it, because emotions are weak. And when this comes together, it's clear that men don't talk with men about this, but they need it. And I don't know, I was married 2 times, and, this prince on the white horse, this image girls have when you're together a couple of years, this image is losing colors. So when you now, in addition, start talking about your inner world and maybe your anxieties and fear and self-doubt, maybe you'll lose more color. So we don't talk to our wives. And that's what's interesting is what I found out in studies when I did my research is that men tend to talk to other girls. They meet in a bar, after dinner, when they're on a business trip or wherever, and they open up themselves. And when we open up themselves and talk our emotion, intimacy starts, and then everybody knows where it ended up. So a lot of men are just cheating because they don't talk to each other, because they don't have a man to talk about it. So guys, let's open a panel. Men need men to talk. What's your experience? Do you have a best buddy where you can really talk about everything or not? Why it's good to talk to your buddy? So Marcin, maybe I see you first on the screen. Maybe you want to start, Marcin. What's your opinion on that?
Well, actually, this topic is not so easy for me as I'm in this 80% actually, because my best friends are women, and I'm just working on finding the proper people to share my experiences with. But to be honest, throughout my life, usually it was some woman. And I had these strange relationships with my father, who was not very talkative. Well, actually, he was, but only for monologues and not so good at listening. I quickly learned how to avoid any conversations with him. And now, as I live with him together and I take care of him, there is more space for me actually to get to know him better, and he starts listening. So it is something new. But yeah, I'm in this 80%, so I just feel that pain.
Okay, thank you. Hazem, how about you? Do you have a best friend where we really open up totally, honestly, uncut and real?
Yes, not much actually. Just a couple of friends at that time open to talk with. A long time ago, since college or university. But yes, but I don't know about women. Talking to women, most women think that when we talk friendly or making some jokes or maybe some sexual jokes, they think that we're testing the water. So it's very difficult to make this thin separation, with them.
Okay. Well, actually, Hassan, we don't actually, in general, we don't have many friends. As I always said, like we have fingers on one hand, but it's cool that you have friends where you really can open up. Christian, how about you?
Well, I got some guys I'm really sharing everything with. At least it's 13 right now, because I'm running a men's group, and so we share everything there. And the youngest is like 19, and the oldest is 57. So there is a lot of different life experiences coming together. And the thing that I experienced is, in that moment, I decided to open myself to someone else. The other guy, started opening as well. Mm-hmm. So that was my way of getting to know these guys on a deeper level. It was my decision to open myself up to someone else, because that somehow breaks that boundary between two men. If you show that you are that your heart got hurt, for an example, and stuff like that, so the other guy sees, okay, I can relate to this guy. He has some same experiences like I did, or like I have, and that makes it much easier for the guys to open up. Because I think, and this is also my experience in life, when I go outside and meet a guy or something, and I start talking to them because he's wearing nice shoes or something, and this can be the first step, really, like telling someone, hey man, I love your shoes, man, where you got them from. So this is the first connection, and then you can maybe say, I never find the beautiful stuff and stuff like that. So you can get into connection to other people. And if you show up, hey, I'm a human being, I've been hurt, I got my own stuff going on, I got my problems. So it makes it easier for other men to share as well. This is my experience. And so I got all my men around me. And it really is a strong bond, and it's very helpful.
Christian, an additional question to that. Did you, before you started this man group, did you have a friend where you talked everything about it, or was the start with this man's group?
Before I started this men's group, I had 3 guys. I'm talking about everything. I know that. I know those 3 guys since I was 18. So it's about almost 30 years right now. And we spend a lot of time together. And so, of course, we know almost everything about the other guy. And it is hard to keep a secret in front of someone you know for such a long time. So, yes, I had 3 guys.
Okay, thank you. Big Scott, how about you?
I'm probably on the completely different scale. I couldn't say that I have a friend that I've had, I'm envious in a way, Christian, that you've known somebody since you were like 18. So being a forces child, I went to 13 different schools as a child. So I'd get used to meeting a load of people, and then 6 months or a year later, I would move again. And I did that up until I was about 16, 17 years of age. So I've never had a hardcore, not even the 5 on your hand. But one thing it has taught me is to be a really good communicator. And 70% of being a good communicator is a listener. So I found through my experience, because I'm a very tall guy, I've got a very deep voice. So straight away, as soon as I meet somebody new, the alpha male comes out all the time, irrespective of whether I'm sat down or stood up. So I'm always having alpha male all the time, negatively to start off with. But what tends to transpire after you've had a drink and you sit down and chat, you've got so much in common. Like you were saying, Christian, we've all been through things and scenarios in our life. And fundamentally, male, female, child, or whatever, you have to go. There's certain lessons that we all have to learn, but we just think that we're the only person learning it. And as a man, you just think, oh, no, I've made this. This is my life. Nobody else is going to understand my life. But when we start talking, we realize how similar we are. The only thing that's different is our trouser sizes and our shoe size. Do you know what I mean? So on the back of last week, I had a guy phone me literally 30 minutes after the show, an old friend that I hadn't spoke to for ages, who was in a real dire predicament, something I'd never been in. But we spent an hour and a half on the phone talking, going through ideas and scenarios, and he went away with contingencies to try and work things out. So he'd had a drink, and the next day he phoned to apologize. And I said, mate, it doesn't really matter. We tend to use something as a vice to be able to speak to another male, whether it be having a drink or drugs or party, whatever. We can't just walk up to a guy and say, yeah, mate, how you doing? And you don't turn around and say, oh, do you know what? I've had a really crap week this week. Do you know what I mean? Because you think it's derogatory, and you don't want to bring people down. Do you know what I mean? But in order to bring people up, you've got to be a really good listener. And I love listening to people. I've met so many people. But going back to what Christian was saying, and you were saying, Roland, is I tend to confide more in women, because they don't see it as a threat. They listen to it. They're empathic. They're not seeing any scenario in it. They will listen and give you constructive criticism. Whereas if you're talking man to man, as you say, lots of ego and stuff can get in the way. Drop the ego and just talk. I've done a lot of self-counseling over the years, and the first person you have to be a best friend with is yourself. And in order to do that, you've got to be able to listen to yourself. And if you can listen to yourself, you can listen to other people.
Absolutely, Scott. I can absolutely relate. You have to love yourself and listen to yourself and talk to yourself. That's the beginning. And I can relate what you guys said, because in my early years I always was talking just to girls or to ladies. I had good friends. We had a lot of friends, but it was not this deep conversation that I have now with my best friends. But in my experience, it's always ended up in building up intimacy, and it always ended up on a certain place. And I crashed 2 marriages, so I tried to change that. And I can tell from my own experience what I experienced with my current friends right now, but especially what I experienced last weekend in this men's group was it's incredible to really have a deep conversation with other men, meaning with another masculinity. Yeah, with another masculinity energy, with another masculinity source. It was a total different experience. And actually, a friend of mine called me and said, "Where are you going?" I said, "A men's fest." I said, and my auntie too, my aunt is 82. I said, "Where are you going, man?" I thought you were to go with the girl. I said, "No, it's not a gay stuff. It's a man's festival. It's a very male, masculine. We do fights, we do martial arts, we do Viking stuff, we do X fights, we do a lot of stuff. No, it's just a male stuff." And to be honest, this was really incredible. This masculinity, this male energy. They are really talk from man to man, and this was really cool. And also to find out that when I talk from my own experience, I'm not the only guy who, for example, who went through a trauma. There are other people who have been traumatized. There are other people who had challenges in relationship or whatever stuff. It was really cool. But let's continue with my dear friend. I know, Monir, you love to talk to women, I know this, but do you have a best friend you're really talking to very openly, or would you love to have one?
Well, seriously, I don't know why everyone get this impression on me, but it seems to be true, and I'm the only one who does not really believe it. And of course, my wife does not believe this as well. So she's, to be honest, yes, I do have best male friends, and that's and of course, you can count them on one hand, and they are not permanent, so it's stages. So at some stages it was this person, and then another stage it was that person, and so on. And I found it really interesting, because I think I know when to go to women friend, female friend, or when to go to male friends. So in my perspective, when I feel that I want to really talk to someone who can listen and understand, and suddenly someone pops up. So it can be my best friend female, my wife, or my best friend male. So that's and I do that, and I think it's a really interesting stuff, because sometimes from the male friend, as Big Scott was speaking, it's about the alpha male. It's about really I don't really care about your personal stuff, things. So the idea about having an empathy, it does not really show between men. I found this a lot. And that's a little bit, when I talk, when I feel that I really need to talk, it's all about emotions and things that I really need to let out and get some feedback or advices from my friends. So I go and find this kind of empathy and some support, logical support from ladies more. But I must say that I have now Hazem, I have now you, Roland, and I have Mohamed, who has been there since we were in kindergarten. So actually, we've been together along 40 something years, and this is where we always get to speak to. Hazem, I've tried him several times, and he's really a good listener to some extent. And then after a while, he stops at, okay, I cannot listen to this anymore. And then he suddenly leaves. Roland, you always have been always been there, very logical, very straightforward. Take the problem, and then you start cutting it and giving me some solution, then this is really helpful for that. So yeah, I do have some men friends, to be honest.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, great. Yeah, but the point is that as all of you said, okay, we emotion is a female energy. It doesn't mean that men can't have a female energy, and not get confused with female identity. It's a female energy that it's all in us, and yeah, women are more open to listen to us. They're good most of them are good listeners. Mostly what they think is that they're better listeners than men, but we men can learn it. And actually I joined I don't know how many sessions it was on here on USA Global TV. By the way, I highly recommend this, guys, and also to the audience, if you want to sign up with Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, the Elevator Listener. It's an amazing experience in these workshops to become an elevator listener. And I'm a communication coach too, and I know how to listen, but it's not always easy. And I got a lot of insights and learnings during the sessions, where I highly recommend this. By the way, anyway, some commercial breaks. So yeah, my next question is, okay, we said, okay, men need men to talk. What holds us back to talk to other men? Is something that you have been triggered, or something that your dad told you, or in school or military, that emotion or being emotional is weak, or what's going on, Scott?
I think a lot of it is indoctrination. We come from an older generation where respect was given, and you didn't speak unless spoken to, let alone have a chance to air your own feelings. Like, you know, up until 16, 17, you listened and adhered to what you saw men doing, and you know. But being a military person, I was broken down literally to become a fighting machine. So, and idle gossip costs lives, you know. So you had to be very guarded with what you said, how you spoke to people, and the way you said it. So it's taken me a long time to desensitize, because my father was military. So he was RAF police for 22 years. So that he was very strict and very loving, but very masculine, and I couldn't tell you a time that we actually sat and had a conversation about anything, you know, just life in general. Maybe when we've had a couple of drinks when I was in the older years, but as a young male, you're basically stiff upper lip, get out there and take the world by the horns and ride it. You know, whereas with women, you're very guarded, and you're entrusted to open up and speak, you know, to be an empath. But I think we all need to, as a male, even as, you know, an alpha male like myself, we have to embrace our feminine side, because at the end of the day, when we were born, we were embryonic, we were male and female, and we are both male and female. So there's nothing wrong, I think, in being a little bit more feminine, opening up a little bit, you know. And you can be camp, and so these days people say, oh, you're a little bit camp, and straight away they think you're gay, but there's nothing, you know. I think men find it hard to be camp and off guard and just let it go, let it flow. I'm going to be doing it this weekend for the first time with my daughter. We're going to a festival called Blue Lagoon. Now, it's the first time I've taken my daughter to a festival, so it's going to be really weird as a father. And also it's going to be really weird as well as a single male who hasn't been to a festival for a long, long time, and the world has completely changed. But it's going to be an eye-opening experience. And I can guarantee you, I'll be doing exactly what we're doing now. I'll be sat around a fire or sat in somebody's tent or somewhere over the weekend, giving them a little bit of positive advice. Give me a problem and I'll give you a solution. But when I give you a solution, and come back to me with another problem. Do you know what I mean? You just got to... people have always got a problem, and you give them a solution, but then there's the but. There's like, well, there's no but. Yeah. You know, give that a try. If it doesn't, and I think we've got to be a bit more forthright and giving things a go. And we're allowed to make mistakes. We're allowed, excuse my French, to fuck up. You know, but you're taught as a man, you've got to be this alpha male. You're the provider. You're this. You're that. You're the other. But nobody says to you, do you know what? Fuck off in the field and have a bloody good weekend with a bunch of lads. Do you know what I mean? So we're very singular, us males. We're good at talking on technology, but it's, you know, we need foot soldiers. In Wales, they've got these benches now where it's just a do you want to talk bench, and literally one person will sit on the end of that bench, and anybody can just go up and have a chat. because that's what's dying. As much as we're in the communication technology, the fundamental communication is face to face. You know,
Absolutely.
it's eyes to eyes. You know, what you say is only 10%. The rest of it is body language and attitude. And this is what we need to be sharing as men. As far as I'm concerned, you know, we need more men to talk to more men about anything. Do you know what I mean? Apart from cars and, you know, there's more to stuff in life than cars. And so I've got a tiny little Ford Focus, but it'll get me to the festival and back, and I don't care as long as it gets me from A to B. Do you know what I mean? So you talk to me, yeah, but I have my dream car. If I have other money, I'd have an AC Cobra, but that's just because I think it looks beautiful and it sounds beautiful. Do you know what I mean? That would be my fun car. But hey ho.
Thank you, Big Scott, for sharing that. Yeah, I have a similar background. My father didn't never talk to me. I didn't learn anything from him because there was no conversation. I had a very strong, military breaks you totally, absolutely, and makes you a machine out of you. And there I learned, besides what happened in my childhood. And also in school, you know, I went to a monastery with monks. There was no conversation. There was rules and restrictions, no emotions, actually no emotions. And yeah, the thing is, I forgot about my emotions. I had really problems to feel them, to feel myself. I had problems to name emotions and really distinguish that there are difference in emotions. And actually, and this is my message to the audience out there, wherever your listeners, it's never too late to start. I became 58 this year, and 4 years ago, almost 5 years ago, I met my love, and she helped me so much of being more outgoing in my emotions. And to be honest, in the beginning, I absolutely not understand. I did absolutely not understand what she wants, because she said, yeah, I know what you're doing. You always tell me what you're doing, what we have to do, what you're planning, what you're doing, what's your strategy. But talk about yourself. And I thought, what the fuck? When I have a problem, I can sort it out by myself, because that's what I'm trained. I can sort out every problem, believe me. So by myself, I don't need anyone else to help me. Besides my team I had in my personal and the military career. But if I have an emotional problem or an inside, I wouldn't say I'm a lonely fighter. I can do it. So it was really a long journey the last 4 years, from the head to my heart, and still working on that to express myself. And coming back to this men's festival, it was easy for me on this men's festival to open up with other men or to feel his energy. And I said, okay, that's not a female, just what I said. Of course, we need a female energy too, but it was an amazing workshop. It was by Richard West, actually from the UK. He did a workshop. It was called The Marriage of the Female and the Male. And he said, you can have too much male energy. What does this mean? You can have too less male energy. You can have to have too much female energy, or not enough female energy. And what's balance? And I think it's so important that we face male energy, because I don't know you guys, but I always was afraid about male energy, not in the combat, because I was so focused on training, but especially male energy that came from my father. You know, this was my problem, was always the male energy from my father. So, hi guys, how about you? What's your experience? What holds you back to talk to men? Hazem, you want to say something?
Yes. I have a question, actually, Roland. Your female partner, if you have a problem with her and you go to a female friend to talk with, does this consider cheating in some cultures? Because actually that was a topic in one of the TV shows here in Egypt, and I was invited. And the question was, chatting with the female friends, does this consider cheating to your wife or your partner?
No, absolutely not. But what I did in the past was, in my other relationships before, was when I had problems in my relationship, and I went out in a bar having a drink after the office. So you meet somebody, most of a female girl, and you start talking, and then you start talking about your day and what happened to you, and then maybe you open up because you believe that you get some female advice what's going wrong in your relationship, and maybe the other female is a single one, and she said, oh, that's a point to dig in. and then she listens to you, and you listen to her, and this is what intimacy gets started, and we then have to continue this journey. We know where it's ending up. So this is cheating, but it's not cheating when you talk with another girl about your relationship. You need help. But what I learned is that it's, for me, I can speak from my perspective, is it's much more helpful to talk to another man when I have a problem in a relationship. That's what I learned. It's much more helpful. And actually, he's not on the show today, unfortunately. He will join us next time. Our panel member Ezra. He was my male, my male trustee on Mallorca, where he had some issues in relationship. I had some issues in relationship, and this was my start actually. 3-4 years ago, when I met Ezra, open up in front of a man and talk about relationship, and this for me was really cool. It was a healing process, and he enjoyed it too. MONIR, what's your thoughts about that?
It's let me just start with the idea of that we do have the both sides of us. I mean, male, female feelings and so on, and that's absolutely fine. We're created like that, and we need to embrace this all the time. And I think it's all related with how we were raised. Everyone with the critical father figure that we were having, whether they are talking, they are giving us advices or not. And again, my father coming from not only from a military perspective, but he went to the intelligence as well. So he was like in secret services, and you can imagine people in that regards, they really don't talk. They make sure that every word that is being said is really something, and it was always restrict orders, and one of the main things that it was really tough is that he was always giving me this kind of idea that you are alone. And you are alone, that means that you don't have your father to back you up. And that goes for the rest. When I started, if my father is not there to back me up, let go of the friends. So they were not going to be there to back you up, whether you needed something, you want to talk, or you needed some advices and so on. It's you by your own. And that was a really hard in the beginning. But later on, when I started, after my divorce, when I started seeing my therapist, and it was the first thing that she went through is that, do you know that you're a highly sensitive person? Now, what does it mean? What does HSP mean? And when I understand this, when I read about it, when I saw the documentary about it, I started to embrace that God have created me this way for a reason. And this is where it started to be much more open and being okay with the feeling and understanding the feeling that I can get a little bit, depressed or stressed. And I need to let go with those kind of feelings for the people that I do trust. And that's again, another turnaround in my life and in my relationship with people. Let me tell you something about Hazem as a close friend. He does not really speak. He either in a good mood or a bad mood, but he does not really open up. And I think that Hazem always does not give this kind of trust for everyone, especially male. So again, but I remember when we spend good time, it's after a long period of time working together, and we spent some time we spent some time in Emirates and in Kuwait. And this was the time when he started to let go of some of the family stuff, some of the things that got him worried, some of the things, and he kept talking for hours in the airport. And even when we went to the airplane, and he was not sitting beside me, and he kept talking, until it was the time to fall asleep. So this is where it really shows, and it really get that we all need someone to speak to and trust with our thoughts and feelings.
Thank you.
Surprising, Hazem.
Yeah, and this shows that we need really somebody to talk, and it's never too late to start. Hey, gentlemen, thank you so much, Monir, for sharing this. And before we continue with MARCIN and Christian about this topic, let's go on a short commercial break, ladies and gentlemen, and then we are coming back soon.
That I think it was Monir said that the thing the thing why I think men need men to talk is, yes, it's right. Women can really understand and be very empathic in talking to men, and yes, they do have very good solutions, but on the same time, those are female solutions, not male solutions. And when I wanted to know something about myself or me being a man, I definitely need to go to other men. Even if I try to solve problems in relationships. If I want to know something about me as a man, I have no other solution in my words, in my world, than talking to another man, because we are socialized completely different, and no woman, and that is, well, it's the fact that they are raised different than we are. No woman will ever understand a man as deep as another man can. So this is why men need to talk to other men.
Thank you, Christian. This is I absolutely can emphasize it. Absolutely, and that's why it was also my experience on this men's festival. And what you said, it's we need this other male, this other masculinity, this male energy, because we want to be a man with a female energy, of course, as part of it. But we want to be fully in our masculinity, and especially when we have a fulfilled, joyful, happy sexual life, we have to be in a full masculinity, because otherwise we're not accepted by the female counterpart. Thank you so much. Absolutely, that's absolutely correct. As you said, okay, it's nice to talk to girls. They listen to us, yes, but that's not the energy we need in some moments. We need a male, a masculine energy, because we want to be men. Thank you so much for that.
And I would definitely avoid that, Roland, because this is what I was saying, is that this is the normally. But sometimes when I feel that I want to talk, and then someone in the figure comes to me. So yes, definitely, I think it's now the time to talk to Hazem, because this is what I need. It's his ideas, his thoughts, his way of doing it, and sometimes it's a different person, because I need that. This is when you feel what are the things. Maybe it's the empathy, and just no solution. You need to trust yourself. You're good, and thank you so much. And this is what normally ladies would do. But in the from a male perspective, once you throw a problem, then starts the logical solution. This is where you are, and so on. And this is how it really, sometimes, most of the times, what we need, and I vote what you're saying, Christian, is that we need someone to give us some solutions and understand where we are coming from.
Absolutely.
I also, I'm not only talking about solutions into problem talk stuff. I also, and this is something which is very important to me, I mean this in emotional way. Because a lot of women, when they talk, they kind of fall into, I call it mama state. So they start more caring, not really supporting or helping. So, and that is the thing. You have, as a man, you can of course talk to women, but you have to be very aware of in which state she is. So in a man-to-man communication, you are getting a completely different energy, and that makes us stronger as men and feeds us with our male energy.
Absolutely, Christian. Okay, before we wrap up, we're coming to the end. I want to hear MARCIN's final thoughts on that.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I listening to you guys, and I'm amazed how differently we can see the same thing. And actually, what is for me to be understood from what was said is that actually we all need this connection, man to man. It is somehow building us up. Firstly, to recognize that we are not the only one experiencing some problems, and also that other men hidden behind those egos and all of those shiny things are also vulnerable, just like us. And if I would to share just, I don't know, 2 maybe advices how to better listen when you are a man, I will use actually words of one of the attendants of my workshop, Emotions in Action, who said that, with my marriage, the most important thing that I learned how to listen is just to stop myself from giving solution and just being there, shut up and listen. That is what my lady needs. And I think it is what we all need sometimes. So I know you guys are talking about giving solutions, advices and stuff, but I think the most hard thing is just to sit, be honest in listening, do not judge, and do not jump right into solution. Do not tell, oh, it's simple, you just need to do this and that. No, I think what's hard actually in listening for men, because we are very practical, is to accept that someone else have just the difficult feelings, and the only thing that he or she needs to do is just to share them, and that's it, and that's a role. So that's my thought for today.
Thank you, MARCIN. Thank you so much. So whoever your listener, wherever your listeners, when you want to get in contact with us, please go on our website. We have our own website. It's called bonfiretalks.com. And here you can contact with us. You see all our bios from all the gentlemen on the panel, so you can contact each of us if you so. And we also would invite you. Give us your feedback, give us your comments if this was helpful for you. How is your situation? Are you talking to a man? What hinders you, or what is your experience when you do so already? And also, you also invited, if you have a topic that you want to hear that we discuss on the panels, please feel free to contact us and write to us what you want to hear us to talk about it. Thank you so much. We're coming to an end. Thank you, MARCIN. Thank you, Christian. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, MONIR. Thank you, Hazem, for your time. It was always a pleasure to talk with men, not only here on the show, but especially here on the show, Wild at Heart. See you next Wednesday, same time, same station. Take care and all the best. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.